Dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that we can take time to be together today. I know how hard it is for everyone to actually get here and how appreciative we all are for Martha sharing her gifts with us.
Yeah.
We are grateful for this chamber and this community, and we just ask your blessing upon what is said today, and that it's your words that come through, and that we are all able to take it and apply it to our businesses in a way to reach the people you are calling us to reach. Thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. Do you want me to just take off? Do you want me to just run?
Can you all hear Martha clearly?
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, Martha, take
All
off.
right. Cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to go over this. So, what we're going to talk about today. So, in the previous ones, we've talked about different things like um, who your buyer persona is, what the awareness levels are, why it matters, creating content for them, sales ladders, yada yada yada. Right. So we've covered a lot of different things around your business as it is right now, your consumer as they are right now, knowing them, being able to answer to the conversation existing in their head right now, which is marketing 101, right? And so what we're going to go into today is kind of an and then, right? So like an additional thing that we're able to do that is not only going to uh, you know fatten your bottom line, I guess, but or grow. I could just say grow, grow your bottom line. Um, but it's also going to add other revenue streams, other impact streams, other ways that you're going to be able to show up and serve in your community, which at the end of the day is that's everything, right? There's money, there's income, right? But then there's the way that you show up, that you lead, that you serve. That is everything. If everything grows off of that, sort of entity right there, then you ain't doing bad. You're actually you can't help but grow because there's just always this level of they helped me, I want to help them. They helped me, I want to help them, which is really, I mean, that's the beauty of business whenever you can do it well and you can do it that way. So um, the who does okay, I hesitate to ask this, but I'm going to. Who is doing email marketing right now? Okay, that's a typical stat. That's no that this is a microcosm of the whole. That's a typical stat. It would normally honestly be 10 to 15% of businesses actually do email marketing. And while I'm talking about a newsletter today, is it email marketing? It kind of is, but we can also later on get into really nailing email marketing from a campaign standpoint and things like that. When you can nurture somebody from, and here I'm going to get a little bit nerdy, but when you can nurture somebody from a lead magnet into a product, into the next thing, into the next thing from a campaign standpoint, right? In an evergreen sort of automated systems way. But today we're just going to be talking about the email newsletter of it all, right? And that is more of um, it's not because they bought this thing that we're going to create, a campaign from it. It's instead you are this kind of person, right, to your client or your potential client, your audience. You are this kind of person, so I know you're looking for this, and so I'm going to make sure I deliver that kind of thing for you on a regular repeating basis. However regular and repeating you need to make that. My students all the time will say, well, how many newsletters do I need to send out? Do I need to send out one per week or one every other week or whatever? My question is, what's sustainable for you? That's really, if you can sustain one a week, I think it's great. But if you can't, and you feel like you're drowning in one a week for whatever reason, because I'm going to give you a tool that literally does it for you, so you shouldn't be. But if you were, then it's not sustainable to say to your audience to say I'm going to do this once a week and then you do it once every 2 months because you get out of the, you start doing it and then you stop doing it. And then you're like, well, I'm not ready to pick back up yet because I can't sustain it again. Right. So we just need to find out what's sustainable for us. That really is it. But like a sweet spot is once a week. If you can do it, and again, I'm giving you a tool at the end, then your sweet spot is once a week. But that's what people enjoy getting. I'm going to spend some time around explaining what a good newsletter is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share to me using the tool and showing you how it's going to create this stuff for you. And then after that, I'm going to open it up to questions. So this is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do, because I usually end up teaching like pretty much the whole doggone time. What I want is to teach, to show, and then to have actually more of the time open to Q&A, so I can make sure that the seed is planted, right? That it actually is going to get some traction and be able to grow some roots, instead of like the Netflix binge. That was really cool, and I bet that would be fun for somebody to do, and then you don't ever actually do it yourself because you don't understand something about it, right? So I need to make sure that you guys understand stuff. So okay, so the newsletter, like I said, it's talking to your people, right? So if you haven't already gone through the training on who is your buyer, what is your avatar, and the awareness part of it, that's the one that you're going to want to anchor back into. I think, was it the first one that I did? It would normally be a first one for me. Okay, so it's the first training. So it would have been was that February or March, you guys? Do you remember? Was it early March? Because I did 2 in March. Was it February?
I can check for you.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I
I think it was February. I think it was
Yes,
February.
it was February because we didn't do it in January.
Yes.
We did 2 in February.
Got it. Okay. So it was February then. So that's, if you're looking back into them to be able to find what one it is, it's the one in February. That is going to give you an immense understanding of who your person is and how you're speaking to them. That is, it has to be the cornerstone to this entire newsletter topic, because what doesn't work is a general message to a general audience. That's not going to work. People are not, they may open it once, but they'll never open it again, right? So it's like, what's the joke about, well, no, I'm going to mess up the joke. Never mind. I'm just get past that. Anyway, there's a joke about a parachute in there somewhere, but I'm not even going to try to do it. I'm going to mess it up. But you don't need a parachute. No, okay. I'm just not. I need to stop. So anyway, whenever you understand who your buyer is and you're able to inject that voice into the tool that I'm going to show you today, it's going to deliver to that person literally exactly what they're looking for right now, right? So for me, a lot of I have different businesses, but one of my bigger businesses is just teaching people how to do this stuff, right? So they can grow their home-based business, so they can stay home with their kids, so they can grow their families, so their kids don't have to get raised by the internet, yada yada. There's a big part of my ministry lives in that space. And so when I'm talking to those people, there's an email that goes out for those people that is about literally where they're at right now. So different things like, tips of what they could do with their home-based business, and, like maybe different tax advantages and things like that, things that are interesting to them. So a lot of people will treat a newsletter like it's an ad in the local shopper, right? They'll treat it like it's an email that's going out to their people about what they have for sale. And that's where you're really going to, you're going to do poorly in this, right? So this really is about service first, giving first, and making sure that your people feel taken care of. And then you want to have such gold in these newsletters that they want to forward it to their friends, Because when we look at organic marketing, it's all from a share and a save standpoint. Even if we're talking about, social media, like the biggest algorithmic hits, the biggest things that move you up in the algorithm is not the micro engagements of likes and comments, because those are micro. What actually has the heaviest piece of the algorithm is the stuff you can't see. It's the saves and the shares, right? And so when we look at that, it's always smart as a marketer to look at what the social media platforms are doing in the weight of their algorithm, because they know what's moving people. Because the reason why they even have the algorithm working like that is because their goal is to have people stay on their platform, because the only way that they monetize is through ads on their platform, and nobody's going to put an ad on their platform if people are not there, blah, 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 right? And so if we look at just that micro piece of what moves the social media platforms, we know that that is a big part of what moves a buyer and what moves a person in general. And so the saves and the shares of it all. So it all needs to be content that somebody would want to share. And if you're just sending somebody an email every week saying, here's this thing you can buy, that's not share worthy. They're not going to share that with their friends. Even if they like the thing, honestly, they're not going to share it with their friends. And so to run through the filter of, would somebody share this? Would somebody share this with their best friend? That's a great filter to run just your content through, and specifically on this email newsletter stuff. So let's talk about the different ways we can monetize an email newsletter, because it's a lot. The very first way is, of course, you're treating yourself. This is sort of like the Gary Vee rule. You're treating yourself like a media company. And when you create a newsletter like that, it's a media company play, because you're able to spotlight yourself by spotlighting other people, right? So you're showing that you're an authority in this different space by making other people authorities in that space. Does that make sense? A lot of times people will, in their business, there's a very sort of scarce vibe, I guess, to it, because they're like, well, shoot, I don't want them to know about anybody else that does anything remotely close to what I do, because then they'll work with that person instead of working with me or whatever. That's just silly. That's just, when you know who your person is, when you know who your people are, again, harking back to that initial training, when you know who that is, and you know what you bring to the game, and you know what, your perspective, your flavor, what you've gone through, the things that there is no actual competition in this world. Do we all understand that? There can't be, because there's not two of us, period. And so, I mean, if there was another Martha that literally lived my life and had every single thing that was exactly like me, then I could compete with her. But the only her is me yesterday, right? So like that really needs to be how we look at all of this. There is no actual competition. So like I collaborate with other local marketing agencies, other local marketing people. Like, we all work together because we don't do things the same. And the perfect client for each of us are not the same people. They're just not, right? So anywho, so one way to monetize, obviously, is advertising for your own business, but that's a very small actual side of it. Another way to monetize is affiliate marketing. So who is doing affiliate marketing right now? Okay, I've got a couple hands. Good. I was like, there's zero? We maybe need to do a training on affiliate marketing. Just like, let's dog ear that somewhere, because that's a big deal. Because as you're growing your business and your business is getting off the ground, if you can make money through affiliate marketing, it helps to, like, loosen the not the noose, gosh, loosen the necktie a little bit. It helps you just to like get some breathing room as you're growing your business. And it's not so stressful to grow your business if you can do it with affiliate marketing. And then another thing, and I've got I have a training on it right now. Actually, there's an hour masterclass on YouTube. If you look up affiliate marketing masterclass, that exists on YouTube. It's mine. Well, my name and affiliate marketing masterclass. But that's a way to be able to also help hone and laser focus who your people are. So there's like the tools that I give you guys in that training from before. But then also with affiliate marketing, it helps to really hone who's already following you and stuff as well. But anyway, I'm not going to go too far into that. Affiliate marketing, essentially, for those of you that don't do it yet, it's essentially you sign up with a company to talk about their products. You see it all over the place. Now your filter is going to be on and you're going to see it everywhere. But you sign up with a company to talk about their products. It really just looks like a website form. It's not anything that's a big deal. They give you your own unique link, right? Your affiliate link. And basically, whenever you talk about that product in any way, not in a salesy weird way, but whenever you talk about it, then you just share the link. Oh, by the way, here's the one that I use. And then whenever people buy from that link, you get whatever the cut is, right? And so there's different versions of it. Usually in retail, it's a smaller amount because they have a smaller profit margin. Usually it's going to be maybe 5 to 10% on a retail item. Amazon has an affiliate program, but then there's also like subscriptions and services and higher ticket stuff that you can talk about as well. But again, I'm not going to go all the way into that. But if you're whenever you're offering a newsletter and when you're emailing your people and you're serving your people every week, you could definitely talk about something that you're using this week. Maybe you're using this. I don't know, this is stupid, but maybe you're using this Sharpie pen, which is actually a really good pen. But anyway, maybe you're using this Sharpie pen and then you're like, oh, and if you want to grab one, here's the link or something like that. Like, this pen is rocking my world. I've never written such amazing content. Just kidding. But that's how you do it, is you kind of give a small narrative to it. And then, by the way, if you want to grab one, here it is. So that's affiliate marketing. And you can actually, like, I don't usually talk about this stuff, but I'll say it here just so you can understand the depth of it. We make multiple 6 figures a month just in affiliate marketing. Okay, so, and that's because we've done it for years and years. We have content on YouTube for years and years that is still searchable today. So people are still buying something off a video that I shared 5 years ago, right? Like, that's how you set the stuff up. And so whenever you do it in newsletters, you're sending that to people that really, they need what you're talking about. You're a trusted resource for them. And then it's just, it's like a friend just said, hey, here's this thing. And it's not like MLM-y or whatever. It's just, you want it, grab it. If not, no big deal. So that's the affiliate marketing side of it. Now, there's also a sponsorship side of it. So what we're seeing right now in the ads atmosphere is a lot of failure. Okay, we're seeing a lot of people spending way more money than they're used to spending on leads or on sales. It's really been blown out of proportion, and it's because the platforms are changing a little bit, but frankly, it's because human behavior is changing. In the last 6 months, human behavior has changed quite a bit in their buying practices, right? And people that used to only run their businesses on ads and not on any sort of content strategy at all, just on ads, are doing very poorly now. And the reason why is because people are very, very skeptical, as they should be. But they're very, very skeptical. And so whenever they see an ad, they're not just going to click on it and buy it They want to go see, are you for real? They want to understand what you're about. They want to see the reviews. They want to see the testimonials. They're going to do a little bit of research, even if they're not researchers by nature. Okay. So there are some people that are going to research everything, you know, every which way to Sunday, just because they like to, you know, like there's a certain amount of people that are just going to do that. But now everybody does it in some capacity. And that's because probably a number of reasons, but I would say the outlier or the biggest reasons are probably because they have less money to spend right now. Overall, that's what we're seeing. They have less money to actually spend on things. And they've been taken to the cleaners by somebody else offering the same thing that you're offering. When we look at, you know, businesses advertising online, we had to go through a certain amount of time for people to develop a normal, if that makes sense. So, you know how, like, I'll just talk about prescription medication here for a second. Don't come for me. It's gonna give you a narrative, right? Because anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. So, but for prescriptions, there's when people start taking them, and then there's, 20 years down the road, they're like, okay, well, now we know the fallout. Now we know that this happens because we've got enough data to tell us that this happens. People now, Josh, don't come for me. Yes. People now have enough internal personal data, personal insights, right, to know that that thing that they see online may not be true. That's where we're at. And nobody's recognizing the fact, this is actually the first time I've said it like this, but nobody's recognizing that that is where we're at right now. That we had sort of like this heyday of being able to sell whatever you wanted to sell online. People are blaming it on AI, and it's not based on AI. It's human behavior, right? And so people now have had enough time to be able to tell that they need to be skeptical. They need to research things. And so all of that to say, the people that were relying on just running ads before, it's not working for them anymore. And it's because they don't have any sort of context. They don't have any online context. They don't have a content strategy. They don't produce content. There's nothing for people to sink their little hooks into to say, like, okay, this person looks real. They look, whatever. Trustworthy is the word. And so what they're doing now, sorry, I'm getting dry mouth here. What they're doing now is they're anchoring into micro communities. But they're still lazy. So they're anchoring into someone else's micro community, okay? Because these businesses are still going to be lazy. It doesn't matter. So they're anchoring into people that have newsletters that speak to their community, to the same people they would serve in a different way that they would serve them, okay? So that's when we look at JV or joint ventures. It should always be, sorry, we're just all over biz dev right now, but it should always be a company or a business that serves the same people that you serve in a different way that you serve them, right? So say a mortgage broker partners with a real estate agent, right? So that's how that works. Or a chiropractor partners with a DO, right? So like a doctor, a DO doctor. It makes sense because they talk to the same people. The same people are their people, but they serve them in different ways. And so like some of the ones that I, just to give it more context and more depth to help you sort of fire off on who yours would be, the ones that I work with many different people, but some of them are where they set up business entities for people, or they are tax preparers for people and that sort of thing. They work with my people in a way that I'm not touching. right? Or they're, you know, lawyers or whatever, and I'm, you know, not going to talk about it. So, so does that make sense for everybody? Is anybody glazing over? Do you guys have questions yet? I want to make sure we're feeling good about where we're at. Cool. All right. So, oh, I hear somebody. Somebody want to talk?
Oh, Martha. No, I just wanted to. Don't tempt me with a good time asking a question. I would love an example of this because I have an audience of executive assistants. So when I think about JV,
yeah,
I'm thinking about like potential JV partners.
Yeah.
What, off the top of your head, one or two, just for the example, what would come to mind for you if you think, okay, this is the audience? Help me kind of flesh that out to do this exercise that you're doing right now.
Yeah. So executive assistants, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you teaching people how to become an executive assistant, or they're already an executive assistant? What's the capacity that you work with them in?
Great question. So they're already an assistant. They're already great at what they do. I focus on the senior level assistant and taking their career to the next level as a strategic partner. So essentially it's career development, but what's the selling point for them is that their value gets increased in the eyes of their executive partners.
Yeah. So I would say some that come off the top of my head immediately. I would do research in it, but some just off the top of my head would be like some headhunters, bringing them in and having them, you know, feel like they have opportunity. Another one would be, you know, resume builders, people that specialize in creating resumes. Another one would be some way for them to be able to deepen their skills, their existing skill set. And then the last one, actually, for those people, I really feel like somebody like a speaking coach would be good for them as well, because that's how they can really set themselves apart in an interview, is being able to carry themselves well and with good gravity, I would think.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Always here. So now I'm going to screen share and I'm going to start using this tool, and I'm going to show you how I use it, how you guys are able to use it. And this is the tool that I made that helps you determine the right kind of newsletter for your people, but then also it will write newsletters for you. So it's kind of a one-stop newsletter shop for you, but it's going to all be based on who your people are, right? And so for everybody, the output is going to look different. So don't think like everybody's getting the same newsletters or anything like that. The output will be different for everybody. So let me go into my screen share, and then I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link to this tool at the end of the training, because I know darn well that if I give it to you now, you guys are gone and I will see you next month, right? Like and we need to know how to be able to use it well first, or else you'll just not be able to use it as well as you could, you know? So let me go here. I think this is, I hope this is it. Oh, doggone it, that's not it. Let me go back here. That ain't it. Let me go. There it is. Oop. Okay. So it's called, can you guys see it? You can all see it, can't you? Looks like you should be able to. Okay. And I always make sure that I'm recording, even though it says I am. Okay, cool. So all of my tools, whenever I create them, have a start here button instead of like 4 different options, because I don't like to give people options. Yes.
I'm seeing the Zoom screen.
Oh, you don't see the Newsletter Strategist Pro?
No.
Oh, bebop. Let me go back. Let me just pop that into the other browser. See if that fixes it. Oops. Good night. Thank you for telling me, Latondra. I could have totally taken off on my own there. Do you see this? Or does it still say?
I can see it now.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. That would have been a nightmare. Oh, sign up to chat. Ugh. Hang on. I'm sorry, you guys. I need to stop sharing. I need to go back in via another way. There we go. Now you guys should see it. Let me know if you see. Does it say start here? Do you see a start here button?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. We're on the right one. Great. So this is the button you're going to push. I don't give you many options because that's confusing. It is going to ask you questions, okay? It's going to ask you about who your people are, what your business model is, things like that. This will all come from the previous training. So when I say this is, my trainings are like Legos, like Lego bricks that you just kind of build with. That's what I mean. So we'll go back to the previous trainings. Whenever you get your avatar, by your persona, when you get that, you should save it as a .txt file. I would save it on your desktop, wherever you can save it that you can grab quickly and always remember where it is, right? So whatever that organizational system is for you, that's where you would save it. And so where I would input that is right here. You would click on this, and so you would add the file right there. So you would add the TXT file, because we want for this tool to know who your people are, not just in a high level way, because that avatar generator is going to give you very good psychographics on that person. And so it's going to be able to pull some solid stuff. Now today I'm using this laptop is my husband's very old laptop, okay? But it doesn't have my files on it. So this is going to look very high level, but do not replicate what I'm doing here. I should have uploaded the TXT file to this machine, but I didn't. So who is your dream client and core audience? I'm going to run, Joshua, you care if I run with your stuff here on the executive assistant? I'm going to assume that's a yes, because I've never had anybody say no. So let's see. So for, oops. Okay, I'll serve. Oh, wait, let me open up chat so I can see. Sorry, I'm just seeing what you guys are saying there. Okay. Dream client or core audience. I serve, I'm going to say C-suite, executive assistants. I help them grow in their I'm just going to say abilities and get more pay and better jobs. Just make it very high level there. So what is your current business model? So coaching, consulting, SaaS is software as a service for those of you that don't know. E-commerce, media brand, personal brand, etc. This sounds like coaching to me. So I would say coaching. Now, watch how I'm doing this, because you don't need to spend a bunch of time formatting how you're responding to AI. I'm not even putting 1, 2, 3. It's gonna know, it knows what it asked me. It's gonna know when something is in response to a question that it asked. I don't even have to, like, I'm literally just separating them by a period. What's the primary purpose of your newsletter? It's all of these. So I'm just gonna say that. What would make a sponsor excited to be in your newsletter? Which audience? Yep. Just gonna do that. Do you prefer a personal tone, storytelling, or professional tone, insightful and expert-led? So this is gonna be based on who your person is. What I would say on question 5 is if you don't know, if you're not sure, what I would say is, I'm not sure, please determine this for me based on who I'm talking to and allow it to go ahead and do the legwork on that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that here. I'm not sure about, about tone. Please determine this for me based on who I'm serving, please. And I say please and thank you because I've seen Terminator and not interested in the outcome if not. Just joking. But any specific offers, launches, or brand messages you'd like woven in. I'm going to not have any of those for right now, but if you ever have like maybe an event coming up or something like that that you want woven in, that's where you would say that here, okay? None at the moment. Now we're going to let it work. Pain points: feeling underpaid, undervalued, and stuck professionally. Goals: professional development, salary growth, increased recognition, interest, career advancement, executive level skills, insider job strategies, mentorship. It's going to grab these interests and it's going to start helping you create based on these interests, okay? So just as this is all just gold. This whole thing is gold as it pops out, just so you know. Business model coaching, likely one-on-one or group coaching, helping EAs level up. Primary newsletter purpose: you're aiming for a power combo: build trust, drive conversions, create community, attract sponsors, nurture leads. What would make a sponsor say yes? Super targeted niche. It's a dream demo for productivity tools. So there's your affiliate marketing, okay? When you can have a monthly tool that you have an affiliate link to, a lot of times SaaS or software as a service, its affiliate payout is more than most in the different industries. Its affiliate payout is usually going to be about 40%. So if a product is say $100 a month, which is a normal price for a product in SaaS, you would get $40 a month for every month for, depending on how they've set up their affiliate programs. But it's a really, it adds up. It adds up for sure. Courses, career platforms, high engagement potential, a clear mission around empowerment and growth. Tone suggestion for your audience. So it's making the suggestion, right? So a hybrid personal or professional tone is ideal. They're sharp, ambitious, and career focused. So expert insights with a personal voice will win. Think mentor meets powerful peer. Stories that say, I see you and here's how to get what you deserve. That's very close to my own voice in what I do. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a very powerful space. It's because you get to remain very authentic and you get to still put in sort of like, if you have any goofball funny stuff that happens in your world, it's not like you can't also talk about that. They want for you to be real, but then they also want to see that expert every once in a while. They want to see the expert poke its head and say like, okay, now here's why I would do this. Here's, whatever. But then also you get to be the real friend they could literally sit across the table and have coffee with, right? So like it's a very powerful space if your people are looking for that, right? Recommended newsletter format. So flagship founder memoir. Why it matches: builds deep trust with stories and lessons from your perspective or your clients. Positions you both coach and advocate. Easily weaves in CTAs and CTAs or calls to action, and sponsors without feeling salesy. A call to action is usually a call to like purchase something or whatever if it's a sponsor thing, or to join something, or to, do this thing. Strengths: monetization, attracts sponsors who value brand aligned storytelling. Brand building, so your own personal brand building grows your authority and loyalty with your niche audience. Suggested structure, subject line, strong emotional career-driven hook, hook intro, short story, insight from the trenches, main message, one core takeaway or transformation, micro lesson or reflection, CTA, and then a sponsor block. So this is what it's saying is going to be the best type of email, okay? So now the next question, excuse me, here is, would you like me to draft your first issue based on this structure? I'm going to say yes. Now, what I do with this tool is I'll say, so on Sunday, I had sort of like a, you have these epiphany moments every once in a while, and you're like, that's kind of good. I feel like other people need to hear that. And it was that my magnolia tree outside, when we got this house, I was so excited. There were 2 magnolia trees because they're my favorite. And but everybody else's magnolia was blooming. It's blooming time, and mine wasn't. Mine looked actually kind of dead. And I was like, this is a nightmare. Like, not only am I not getting these beautiful magnolia blooms, right? But I think it's dead. Like, I don't know why it made me feel about myself, but I was like, am I dying? Like, there was a weird thing that happened in my head. And anyway, so the other morning I started to see a bud come on. And then I looked the next morning and there were like many buds. And now there's like 40 to 50 that are coming on. I'm like, oh, hallelujah. But it's like 2 to 3 weeks later than most other trees. And so then I was like, I kind of just spoke that into this chat here and was like, I want to just kind of dig into that feeling of being behind and how everything in nature is going to have its time and its season. Doesn't mean that your tree is dead, right? Even though we feel like it right now because everybody else is blooming. And so it helped me write something that was made a lot of sense, and it was really helpful. And so I still got to put my lesson into it, but then it fleshed it out, right, in a way that sounded very much like me, because I also had a TXT file that is my voice as well, but it knew who it was talking to as well, right? So when we have these different tools, it can make life very easy, but you're not telling the robot to go run your business for you. You're putting in your insights that you want to put out there. It just helps you make the insights more digestible, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's see what email it just wrote for us. Yes, okay, there it is. Flagship Founder Memoir Newsletter Draft. You can also have it change names and stuff like that. Just ask it to do that. Subject line, why just an assistant is the most dangerous lie you can believe. That's actually a really good subject line. Subject lines are the most important part of an email. I think we all probably know that in some way. They're not going to open it. If it's not a good subject line, they're not going to open it. It needs to be sort of hooky a little bit. The emails that I send out, the industry average is about 15 to 20% open rate, okay, on emails, meaning 15 to 20% of people open emails. And I think when a lot of us think of email, we think that can't possibly be lucrative because I don't open hardly any of the emails that come into me, right? And that's true. That's true. I don't open most of my emails that come in. But there are some emails that come in that I will only open, right? They're the ones that come in that there's no way I'm not opening those, because I know they're valuable. I know they're going to be helpful. And that's what you want to be for your people. And so my open rates are anywhere between 60 and 75%, which just blows the average out of the water. But that's because I deliver actual value to people and that they want what I'm talking about. And I'm not just sending them garbage, and I'm not just selling them things, right? I'm actually giving value. And that's what this is going to help you do, okay? So intro hook. I once coached an EA who told me, I'm just here to keep things running. She was running multi-million-dollar operations behind the scenes and still doubting her worth. Main message, here's the truth no one's saying loudly enough. You're the strategic nerve center of the C-suite. Joshua, I hope you're listening, man. And the sooner you own that, the sooner your title and paycheck will catch up. Most executive assistants I work with are already doing the work of chiefs of staff, coordinating teams, managing priorities, shielding their execs from chaos. The problem, you've been trained to stay invisible. But the moment you start thinking like a strategic partner instead of a task doer, the game changes. You speak up differently, you set boundaries, you negotiate with confidence. And that's when promotions, pay bumps, and the new opportunities show up at your door. And so the mini reflection, so this doesn't actually get put in the email, to be clear, okay? This is just, it's like for you to know that that's the section it is. So then, it would just be enter, space between the paragraph. But this week, I want you to try something simple but powerful. Introduce yourself as the strategic partner to your executive, to a new hire, a vendor, or even just your email signature. Watch what that ships. You're not just anything, you're essential. CTA, again, do not put that in your email. I coach high-performing EAs ready to lead at the next level. If that's you, reply to this email with level up, and I'll send details about my private coaching. Sponsor block. This issue is brought to you by whoever the sponsor is, the go-to tool for executive assistants who manage it all, blah, blah, blah. Have a little, something for them. And that's it. Let me know if you want help naming. Yeah, let's name it. Let's name the newsletter. It's going to give you 7 options. And if you don't like it, in naming stuff, I'm so picky about names. And it's probably because I know way too much about buyer psychology, but I'm like, oh, that ain't it. That ain't it. And then so that, I'll see 7, I'll be like, almost, And so you can always, if you like one the most, you could say, I like this the most, make 7 more like this. And then you can start focusing in on, actually getting something that's great. But empowerment driven, the strategic seat, power behind the power, next level EA, command central, the inside track, from the desk, you're not just. And so what I would do is, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to say, and then I'm just going to go into questions, you guys. I'm going to say, I like this the best. Can you give me more like this, please? Yeah, I'm going to say please and thank you, because we know our manners. There we go. Executive edge, level up the EA edit. And I just hear Sierra in my head. Sorry, like the level up song. The elevated assistant, EA to executive. EA to executive is very aspirational, because I would imagine that your people, if they're an EA, I would imagine that their aspiration is COO at some point. My first EA, not my first EA, the first EA that worked out ended up becoming my COO. She's my COO today, right? So in 2016, she was my EA. Now she's my COO. So I feel like EA is a really good, nice trajectory to COO, potentially CEO, depending on the skill set. But elevated assist. I love, what was it again? EA to executive. Oof. Okay, here's what I'm going to do is, Joshua, for you, I am going to share this conversation so you have it. Create link.
Thank you.
You got it. And then I'm going to stop share so I can answer questions. If I need to pop back to this just to, run another example or something like that, I'm happy to do it. It's not like I can't do it. So let me go back into the chat. Give this to you. Paste. There it is. There you go, Joshua. That's your specific conversation.
Martha, while you're sending that, I just want to say, I mean, your work doesn't need any validation, but I do want to say this. I've done an extensive amount of work on this particular this buyer avatar. And without you having any time to research or do any of that, everything you pulled up is exactly or pinpointed to the pain points and the desires and the dreams, all the things that we've spent, all that time discovering. So just to validate that this process she just took all of us through, it is spot on as far as the pain points, which is important because then that means it's going to actually speak to the audience. So I just wanted to really affirm that so everybody
Oh, thank
know that
you.
this is the real deal.
Thank you,
If they
Joshua.
don't
I
already.
appreciate that. That's awesome. I like that. I actually just I'm pretty sure that I don't need food to survive. I live off pats on the back. So I appreciate that. That's very cool. I like it. I just like helping. I just like helping. So what other questions do you guys have? I'm happy to just unfold. We have a full half hour. So again, I wanted this to be a very, teach the concept, show how to use it, and then answer your questions so it can make sense for you in your world. So feel free. You could just unmute if you want. We could just do straight chaos here if you want to. I know somebody's got to have questions. If not, then I'll go into somebody else's example.
And Martha, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something about how the subject line is the most important copy that you can have, and you understand the buyer's psychology. Can you give us just a snippet of what to consider when we are creating our subject lines?
Yeah. This will pretty much create your subject line for you. But the things to think about, the biggest thing to think about is if somebody sees it, are they going to feel like this email is going to sell them something? If they feel like that, they're not going to open it because they're going to make the assumption that they already know what it's about and that it's not worth their time because they're busy. Everybody's busy. I don't care what they do. I don't care what their position is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Everyone on the planet is busy these days. And so basically what we want is we want to pique an interest and open a loop, right? So in writing or in psychology, whenever we open a loop, it means that we've kind of opened a story, opened an idea that we're then going to close inside of the email. So our brains, the way that they work is that we have to close the loops. We can't, even if it's something that you do not give a rip about, if it is an open loop that is so extraordinary, this is how clickbait works, right? So if the loop is open and it's so extraordinary that your brain is like, I don't care, but like, I can't not know how this ends now. Like I somehow need to understand how this is possible because my brain is just what? And so so then they'll open it to be able to close the loop. And then the closing of the loop actually happens in the email. And then great email. So whenever we're looking at campaigns and that sort of thing, great emails open another loop inside the email for the next email, right? For them to close in the next email. So that's one of my biggest things that I geek out on is email. Obviously, I think it's very obvious here, but email is where 85% of your sales should happen. What does that mean to the people that said they don't do email marketing? It just means you've got way more sales that you're leaving on the table because 85% should get closed in your email. The reason why that number is what it is because if you're closing sales in your emails, what it allows you to do in public, like on social media and that sort of thing, it allows you to serve big in public, right? So when you're out there, you're not sort of scrapping and trying to get people to buy your stuff in public. You're serving, you're giving them good things, but then you're also giving them lead magnets which is how they join your email list in the first place, right? So whenever you give them a lead magnet, they join your email list. Then that's where the campaigns start that will nurture them into the next thing that they should do, right? And so if that would make sense to them, if that lead magnet made sense to them, you know what I'm saying? People self-sort and they'll self-filter by whether they pick up your lead magnet or not. What that means is that if somebody grabs, so if I have, there's a lead magnet that I just made that I'm sending live pretty soon, and it's what should your first income stream be, right? Because I talk about many income streams. Like, what should yours be based on who you are, right? What should it be? And then I give them a tool to figure it out. Well, if somebody is going to grab that lead magnet, what are they self-sorting and self-filtering about themselves? That they want to set up some income streams and that they're not really sure what the first one should be, right? I mean, that's an obvious self-filtering and self-sorting. So then based on that, because they got that, I know a lot about them. And so the emails that come on the back end of that is all about that. And then what the next step for that type of person would be, right? And so that's when we really dig into email, the intricacies of it are so beautiful, but they're behind the curtains, right? We get to serve and just completely serve in public and give lead magnets, and then the selling actually happens behind the scenes. The only selling that I do in public is if I've got, like, we've got a 3-day event happening next month, and so I'll talk about that when I launch it in public, right? Because it's a time is of the essence. It's an urgency thing. But it's like, that's the only kind of thing that I'll talk about in public. And that's why a lot of people don't even know all of the different stuff that I have, because they don't see it out there. But when they get into my world, they're able to see it, and then they comfortably can fit into what makes sense for them. Your question was about headlines. And so let me back up, because I just realized that. So the headline should be that open loop for them to be like, okay, I need to understand why this, right? So I had a client last month that they did, we had a one-on-one, like a 45-minute one-on-one, and he added 40 grand to what he made that month just based on the suggestions that I made in his one-on-one. And so, I could send out an email that said, we talked for 45 minutes and he made 40 grand. Like, I could do that. That's an open loop. That's like, if 40 grand matters to you, then that's an open loop. Like, that's just how that, does that make sense, Latondra? I know you might be at the doctor.
Thank you, Martha. That was good.
All right, cool. Who else? What else we got?
I don't know if you have covered this in previous. I have all the recordings here. I'm gonna watch them. But a platform that we could use for newsletter marketing.
The platform?
Yeah, there's so many. I don't know.
There are a lot. So it's a great question. I'm glad that you asked it. There are, so there's 2 different ways that I send out emails. And so when we talk about email campaigns, I use, whatever email is associated with the CRM that I use, right? So I personally use Kartra. If you guys ever want to, I have like a 40% off code, blah, 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 right? But for email newsletters, it's the platform that is doing the best right now for open rates, because whenever it comes to open rates, it depends on the IPs that they're coming off of, the email servers they're coming off of. A lot of times they'll end up in abused email servers, and so open rates will go down because the deliverability goes down. Anyway, so Beehive, Beehiiv, and it's easy. It's like templates, you really just kind of copy paste into it. And but it has the best. And then also internally, and I think it's Matt McGarry that has it, he's just a boss. He's the brains behind Morning Brew. There's a lot of newsletters that have sold for lots of money, lots of them, right? Because they're running as ad platforms essentially. But Beehive will also, even for smaller newsletters, will also reach out to you. I get an email a day at least. They'll reach out to you and they'll say, hey, so and so wants to sponsor your email. So out of nowhere, you don't even do anything. They email you because they want access to your people. Beehive knows who your people are because it's on on their platform. And then they'll say, I'll give you $1 per send. So if you have a list of 100,000 people on it, then you from one send got 100,000 bucks, right? Now that's just easy math, but that's how it goes. So we're in a very cool space, and I'm getting ready to do another 3-day event of newsletters where I'm just going to go right on down the rabbit hole. I think I'm probably going to do it this next one's in June. I'll probably do it in July. I'm really excited about that because I think a lot of people are missing a huge opportunity right now, because there are people there. I mean, somebody sold they were building their newsletter for 18 months and they sold it for over $400 million. Like, that's when people want, the ads game is done. So they don't know where to go. Their business either goes out of business. They have to figure out content strategy if they haven't yet, they don't want to start now. They would rather buy their solution, buy their micro community, buy their people. And so that's what's going on right now. It's wild, guys. So
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, you got it. Am I yelling at you guys? I get real excited about stuff. I don't mean to be yelling. Sometimes I get loud, but
No, I appreciate your energy. It keeps me excited and motivated and full of anticipation.
I love it. Love it. What else you guys got? You gotta ask questions. This is not something you can't ask questions about.
So
I mean,
I'm
just shame everybody. Go ahead.
I'm in the beginning stage of crafting out my avatar. I'm new to the chamber, and so I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of questions in the upcoming months. But I'm collecting contact information and beginning to network with people, sharing about what I'm doing. So what I feel like because I'm still refining what I want to do, my business. I feel like God is calling me to help entrepreneurs create kingdom impact. So I'm a systems guy. I can take anything that you have a problem with, anything that you're dreaming about, visioning about. You can tell me what it is, and I can help you go from A to Z, how to make it happen. And so part of what I feel called to do is help people clean up their website information, make it more attractive, make it more excellent, have better copy, and just learn how and teach them how to communicate with their target audience in a healthier way, to help people learn how to grow, how to scale their business, and how to grow healthy teams.
Yes, that's solid. It's so necessary. People in the early 2000s, there's a lot of websites from the early 2000s. Thank goodness we've made our way out of the front page days.
For sure.
But there's a lot of websites in existence from like the early 2000s that they just haven't really changed them. They haven't updated them, and they've treated it as a very set it and forget it sort of thing. But then their business was forgotten along the way,
For
because
sure.
there's Google has its freshness score, like as part of the SEO ranking, which is one of the biggest parts of the SEO ranking, right? And that's, are you producing new, fresh content on a regular basis, with the minimum being 3 per month? 3 at least, and this is just a heads up, we'll just drop this here. 3 blog posts is how it usually is done. That's why blogging is the thing. But that are at least 300 words long. They can't be less than that or it won't be scraped. But 300 word at least blog posts that are relevant to your community, that help your people do a thing, and and then any more than that, you know, so 3 is just to get the check mark that you are fresh for that month. And then if you add more than that, it upticks the freshness score. So your SEO gets better and better based on the amount. So that's why you're seeing sites like, you know, when you do a search, you'll see a lot of directory sites like Reddit, that sort of thing will be some of the stuff that shows up first, because how many times are those updated, right? Oh, I mean, it's consistently.
Consistently all the time. There's always
All the
engagement
time.
happening. Yeah.
And it's user generated content. Yeah. And so it's literally what people are searching for, because it's they're literally asking it in Reddit. You know what I'm saying? So when we understand that, and if you can do that for clients, that's going to be the thing that, like, that's solid.
For
That's
sure.
so solid.
So
Yeah.
what's interesting is that I was a pastor for 20 years, and I did this as part of my ministry within the church. And so now I feel like God's called me out to help in the business space. And I'm like, dude, I can take all those skills are transferable. So now I'm learning how to craft it and market it so I can then pitch it to get people to join me.
I love it. I love it. Honestly, a lot of churches, I have a hard time doing, this is just me, and that's because it's not my calling, right? That's why I can't do it, because it's not my calling. But there's a lot of churches that need help with their messaging, period. And
Big
you know,
time,
hard stop.
big time. And
Hard
that
stop.
and that's one of the things that I learned at the last church I served at. I was there for 6 years, and man, it was a game changer. I learned so much regarding communication, regarding messaging, regarding branding, how all those things are so important. And I feel like people just don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And so while I'm not going to be the one that's going to be making the websites, I would love to help craft the language that is on the websites for marketing, for communication.
JV with somebody that does make them. So then you can partner with somebody.
Yeah, I have a friend. I'm actually talking with her today, and I'm gonna pitch my vision to her.
There it is. It's win-win. I love that's
For
the
sure.
only world I live in, is win-win, win-win-win. If we can all win, I'm good. If anybody loses, I'm out. I don't want to play.
100%. Yeah,
But that's that's very, very cool.
for
That's
sure. Thank you.
yeah, you got it.
Uh,
You got it.
And I appreciate your time
Congratulations.
today. It's very, very, very informational, very helpful.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, I live off pats on the back, so I'll take that one. What other questions do you guys have? I could run another example if you want. If anybody wants to put their business in the chat.
We could do mine.
Oh, okay. Did anybody that hasn't said anything, Amy or David, did either of you want me to, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to run it because you haven't had anything to say yet. If not, it's okay. I can just, I'll run Andrews. It's no big deal.
Yeah, the newsletters are new for me, so I'm kind of like taking it all in. I'll do the emails, which I consider them different now. I kind of see it's just one package, but
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
Martha, maybe a good cool twist is, I mean, you've had a lot of success, and I'm sure one of the things you've experienced before is that minimal viable product phase, where you have a new business and you're starting and you're trying to validate the pain points and all those things. It might be a good thing to throw in there with Andrew. I'd be curious to also hear your thoughts on that, because for me, that was a huge aha moment when I realized you don't have to build the thing, just make an MVP, get enough, get a small, like 3, 4 people that want to buy it, and now you have you have a product that people want. So if you could, I think you would be very good to speak to that, having all the success you've experienced.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I'm actually getting ready. Well, I'm creating something. I can't say getting ready because I'm doing it now, but I'm creating something brand new right now. So I'm in that phase with that business, right? And it's a co-working and collab space. And that's that, like, we're going to create it. We'll have like a podcast recording studio and all sorts of stuff. But I am not going to, I'm not going to sign the lease on a building that's $35K a month until I know that I have the audience that's ready for it, right? Until I have people that are like, yes, I want a desk there. Yes, I want to be able to come there. Yes, I'll pay whatever for, you know, monthly membership, blah, blah, blah. And I work out all those details. And so in doing that, that is not my current audience, right? Because my current audience is global. And so my current audience isn't hyper local specifically to the Winter Garden area, right? So this is on downtown Plant Street. And so in that, I have really been able to develop relationships with people locally, but I'm in this, and I'm the only reason I'm describing all of this is so it can fire off in your own brain. What does this look like for you? But what I'm doing is I'm in talks with the different local Facebook groups, right? So the ones that are like a Winter Garden something or a Windermere something or whatever, you know, like it's the local groups. I'm paying attention to Eventbrite. I'm paying attention to meetups and seeing what people are already doing, how many people are showing up to events, who's talking about this stuff, is there anyone talking about this stuff? And what I'm actually doing in a big way is I'm creating a local newsletter, obviously, because I put a newsletter next to everything that I do. And then also I'm creating a local Facebook group for, I think we called it, it's not live yet because I'm still waiting on the graphic for my team, but it's like Winter Garden, I should know this, co-work, collab, and coffee crew. There's a lot of C's, but that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that the hub. That's going to start being the community. I'm going to deliver the goods to the community. So I'll be doing trainings. I'll be teaching. We're going to do some pop-up co-working things at different coffee shops. I'm going to start a podcast that is going to just be about, you know, collab and coffee, like Winter Garden collab and coffee. So at a coffee shop, me and another entrepreneur are going to chat for like 30 minutes, talk about stuff that's hyper local, but then also business related stuff. But so I can put the spotlight on them as well. So I'm always thinking of how can I serve them, even though we're doing something that's helping me also. I want to make sure that service is the overarching umbrella to everything. So what I'm going to be able to do in all of that is I'm going to be able to determine, is there a pulse, right? Is there a pulse for this community? Is there a pulse for people wanting the same thing I want? Because that's what I'm doing, is I'm creating something I want. Of the co-working places around here, there's like Regis, and God bless Regis, but it's like stuffy, you know? It's not that live sort of thing where you feel part of something, you know? And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm checking the pulse for that. And the thing is when you're checking the pulse, you can't be, how do I say this? You can't dip a toe and say, well, it's there or it's not there. You have to really throw yourself all in to know whether that pulse is there and active. Because if you just kind of dip a toe, you're not going to get, you don't have real data, you know? Because if you're not active in building it, you don't actually have the real data. You have the data of sort of a, well, I could kind of maybe do this, and I don't know, maybe not, and let's see if people would be interested or whatever. People may not respond to that. Whereas if I jump in and I start doing podcasts and I have this group and it becomes alive immediately, then I can say, now who wants like a space? I really want to get a space, but I'm not going to until I have X number of people that tell me that they want a space, because like I'm not going to go broke because of it, right? But that's a different energy than, would you guys want a co-working space around here? You know? So it's different. So while it depends, but it depends on the product too. It depends on the products, because with a course, right? So I have done a lot of my success is due to online courses, trainings, things like that. And with a course, I can share that with my community. But again, it's a community-based thing. I can share it with my community and say, hey guys, I'm thinking of doing, a course about this. I really want to teach about this, and then I'm going to give you some tools that help you do it. Who would want that? If not, it's no big deal. I won't make it, but I thought it would be valuable to be somebody or to somebody. And then they'll say, oh my gosh, I want it. Oh my gosh, are you reading my emails? Whatever. And then I know, okay, there's viability there. I can go ahead and make that thing. It makes sense to put in the energy for it. So was that helpful for you, Joshua? Whenever, yeah, was that helpful? I'm gonna take it as a yes. Oh, and thank you for these personal messages. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for the content and the great and amazing information. It's so helpful. Wondering how automated you can make the newsletter. In other words, you mentioned the SEO and the frequency. Can you set up AI so it literally produces that content? Maybe even because I see there's kind of a cut and paste or import. Can it go the step further, which actually puts it into the formatting and content with your email background? Is all that?
You can. So you would use an automation like Make or I don't know how they say it, but N8N. There's or Notion, right? There's like different. That's actually probably Notion. Probably there. Anyway, but yeah, you can use any of those sorts of platforms, and it's going to say, you'll have your API connect. So we're going to get a little nerdy here, but you'll have your API connect of the GPT. It'll produce the email. Make will grab it, or Notion or whatever. We'll grab that email, and then the next action for it to do. So we install this into people's businesses too. But the next action for people to do would be, or for the bot to do would be to put it into Beehive, and then the next action, because a human being should always be involved. The next action should be that it alerts you that it's time to look over it. And then after you've approved it, then you can go ahead and send it and that sort of thing. But the biggest part that I hope you heard about that is a human should always be involved in the process, because we can't automate ourselves out of it. It's got to have the human nuance also.
Okay.
And also from an AI standpoint, different LLMs standpoint, whenever you're writing anything, Chat GPT is and that's what this tool is coming to you in, is Chat GPT. It is about ideation. Okay, so it's really great at ideation. It's really great at research. It's really great at a lot of different things. What it's not great at is copy. Okay, it will give you all the honkin' emojis that you've ever thought you ever needed. You'll be like, I haven't seen this many, rocket ships taking off in my whole life. But whenever you get that copy, what you do is you copy and paste that, and this can also happen via Make or Notion or whatever. You copy and paste that copy into Claude. So Claude is another, and it's freemium, right? So there's a free version. It's CLAUDE.ai. And so you pop it into Claude, and Claude has a weird and almost terrifying way to sound human. It's got that human nuance. It's got that almost that emotional. It's weird and it's amazing at the same time, and like I said, also terrifying. But that it should be writing the email. So the ideation, the meat and potatoes comes from ChatGPT. Pop it into Claude, and then have Claude rewrite it, and then it will then sound like a human being. And if you have a TXT file with your voice in it also, and your buyer persona, right, then it will sound exactly like you and be talking to exactly who you mean to be talking to. So you probably won't have a lot of editing even that needs to happen.
Thank you.
You got it. Sorry, I'll give you a long answer to a short question. 8 days out of the week. It's always, always, always. This was fantastic. Oh, thank you. Awesome. This has been fun. This has been fun. Well, it's 12:55, so I'm gonna give you guys the link. Oh, there's Latondra and Briston. We see them. There they are. Let me get the GPT in front of me. Copy. Come back. Good night. There we go. There it is. And then for people that are watching this later, it's going to exist in the same space, right? So the link will already be next to the video somewhere, I would imagine. So yeah, we have 5 minutes, so I'm open to anybody and their questions. Wendy, do you want me to answer your question publicly? Is that an okay thing or no? Yeah? Okay. So she was mentioning facing the fear of getting out there, which is a fear. I want to address this because it's very much a fear that that us as believers have, right? But it's not of God. Like that's just like we need to, if we are walking in our calling, if we are, if we are in step and we're scared to do something, it's okay to be scared. It's very natural to be scared. We can't let that take us out of the game because that's exactly what Satan would love. I'm just going to call it, is for us not to show up and for us not to be part of the game at all. We were created to do this, like we show up different. We love different. We're the hands and feet. And so if we don't show up, there's a big piece missing. Even though we feel small and insubstantial in the giantness of the body of Christ, we're very substantial. We matter a whole lot because our ripple matters a whole lot, right? And the people that you are going to come into contact with may not have contact with anybody else like you, And so it's important to remember whenever I have those feelings, because every time you're about to level up again, you get that imposter syndrome, sort of like, am I ready to do this? Whenever that happens, what I do, the exercise I run myself through is I think of who my people are, right? So your avatar, your buyer persona, I think of who that person is. I think of one specific person. And then I think, what is that person going to do if I don't show up? What's that going to cost? What does me not showing up cost them? And that usually puts me right back in where I need to be. Again, when we live a life in service, it's easy to get our perspective back again because we just focus it on someone else. Like it's not about us, And so I think whenever we get into our fear place, we make it all about us, and not like no shade or anything, but it's just what happens. We're fearful because of us. We're fearful because of what will people think or whatever. But when we make it about somebody else, I have a whole lot less fear because I'm like, listen, if I've got to help this person, I don't give a rip what I look like. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to do that thing. So hopefully that's helpful. Is that helpful for you, Wendy?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Awesome. You got it. Gonna head into your appointment. Oh, yay. Congrats tonight. LaChandra is going to be free and able to move about freely. So it's 12:59. I could take another question or we could just pop off. But, either way, thank you so much. Aw, thank you. I appreciate it. Head out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's all just pop off. You guys have the best day. this has been a total delight on my part. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next lunch or the next wherever I see you guys. But it's been a pleasure. So have a good one, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.